मेरे पास जो बच्चे आते हैं वो सिर्फ क्रिकेट के लिए नहीं आते हैं. द जेंसी इज नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन क्रिकेट ओनली. दे माइट बी अट्रैक्टेड टू द ग्लैमर बट दे are not really wanting to just follow cricket. But what is the major takeaway is the senior industry professionals who come to deliver the masterclass. We offer undergraduate and postgraduate courses in sports management and sports science.
Wow.
These are under Mumbai University. So a student doing courses from IISM officially gets a Mumbai University certificate.
Hey everyone, welcome to yet another episode of Metier Talks, your go-to podcast to get insights about careers straight from the industry professionals and experts. And I'm Jyoti, your host for today. Before we move ahead, do not forget to hit the bell icon so that you do not miss any of our episodes. Today we are diving into something very interesting, booming billion-dollar industry which is rapidly growing in India, and that is sports. When I say sports, I'm sure most of you must be thinking about career as a player. But no, today I'm going to talk about careers besides being a player. And so fasten your seat belts, all you sports lovers, because we are going to take a flight to the world of sports. So to help us dive deeper into this industry, fascinating industry, we have with us CEO of International Institute of Sports Management, Mr. Amit Gupte. Mr. Amit Gupte has a vast experience in education and has a passion for sports. So Amit will shed light on the careers that are in sports and what are the opportunities that are there in sports besides being a player. So hi Amit, welcome
Hi.
to our show. Indeed a pleasure to have you on the
My pleasure.
show today. So I'm sure the students who are watching the show today must be very excited to know about sports. And nevertheless, there are a lot of students who reach out to me and ask about sports, and they're really clueless whether there is a career in sports or not.
Right.
So I'm sure it would help us get more insights from you. So tell me, Amit, how's your journey been? You had a broad career. I mean, your career has been mainly into education, and now you are into a niche area like sports education.
Right.
So how did this transition happen?
Okay, so to start off, I am a computer science graduate. So I wasted one seat and I got into sales. So I did nothing related to computers. I'm into education industry for now. This is my 30th year. So
Oh my
that's I
God,
believe that's
yeah.
some time. So I've worked with IT companies, IT education companies. I've worked with preschool chains. I've worked with school chains, and now for last 7 years, I am with International Institute of Sports and Management. We are celebrating our 15th year, so I'm very happy to be a part of this
Wow,
thing.
hearty congratulations on
Thank you,
this.
thank you.
Right.
And we are Asia's largest sports management institute, sports management
Amazing.
education institute, and I am at the helm of all the operations. Everything apart from the academics part is something that I look after.
Okay.
So that's about me.
So how is it different from being coming? I mean, sports is a very fancy, or I would say very challenging. Do you find it challenging, or how do you see it from the rest of the education sector?
See, sports is always there. Everybody in some way or the other is involved in sports, whether it has been traditional sports, whether it is your single sports like badminton or tennis or team sports. So everybody during
Yes.
their life does play some or the other sport. Now, for those people who want to convert this passion of sports into their careers, is where we step into.
Absolutely right.
See, not everybody would be lucky enough to represent their country,
Right.
right? So, but if they still, I know what they still want to be connected to sports.
Right.
So, what after their playing days? How do they get keep in touch with the game? That's what sports management is all about.
Absolutely right.
So we offer our UG and PG undergraduate and postgraduate courses in sports management and sports sciences for all those who are passionate about sports and who want to be in touch and do their career in sports itself. So yes, it's all about passion. Is all. I would not like to call it different. It's about following their passion.
Right.
They love their sports and they want to continue in that.
Correct, absolutely. So, when I, as a career counselor, a lot of students who reach out to me, I mean, take for guidance, right? So when they come to me, almost every third child has interest in sports and has been playing some sports or the other. Okay, so but at the same time, they are very apprehensive to take up a career in sports.
Right.
Okay, so what would you say? What message will you have to say to these kids?
The child is not apprehensive, the parents are apprehensive. Let me just put it across
Yes,
that way very
I
clearly.
agree on that.
Because everybody wants their child to do a regular graduation and get
Yes.
settled properly. That's what a parent wants to.
Right.
So on a lighter side, whenever I get students, I don't have to counsel the students like in a normal case. I have to counsel the parents. I have to
Right.
convince the parents first.
I can completely agree on this.
See, basically, there is a lot of scope in sports management. It's a growing industry. We are talking about industry reports which say that there is an annual growth of 17% in sports management industry per se, which gives rise to requirement of sports management professionals also. It is expected, if I go with the industry figures, it is expected to touch around $120 billion by 2030.
Oh my God.
And
right.
that's quite some number that we're looking out for. See, even if I don't want to go with the industry figure, not to sound political, but the way that our Honorable Prime Minister is aiming for our country to grow, he is keeping in mind all the developed economies.
Right.
And if you see, all the developed economies are very good in
Sports. Right.
And you would have seen the way that the government is supporting sports itself is, a clear picture of what is going to happen.
Yes, in next 5-10 years.
And if we go with all the talks about 2036 Olympics being conducted in India,
Yes.
then sky is the limit.
Yes.
Then sky is the limit.
Absolutely.
We are talking about minimum 2 million. Again, I am quoting some industry figures. A requirement of 2 million professions by that.
Oh my
I'm
God.
saying that's a very high
huge.
number. I'm saying that's a very high number projected. Even if I take 10% of that number, let's not even take 50%. Even if I take 10% of that number, 2 lakh also is a huge number of professionals.
Right.
To the extent that one IISM is also not sufficient
I know.
to give that many number of professionals.
To fill the requirement.
Yes, absolutely. So it's massive.
Right.
It's absolutely, the potential is massive. The requirements is huge. You need, but it is not something ki overnight success mil jaye. It's not overnight success. You need to put in efforts.
Right. And that is applicable to any profession, I would say.
Absolutely.
Right. So also that, is it necessary for students to have, for sure, a sports background? Like they should be an athlete or playing some sports?
They need to be passionate about sports. See, for now, this is true for any profession that you get into. You need to have a passion for that profession. I don't have to really worry about the current generation because they will not get into anything that they're not liking. But to get into sports management, you really need to know not a particular game, but you need to have interest. Tomorrow you're getting into sports management and you get a job and you realize that I really don't love sports. Okay, it will not help you. Not necessary that you need to play sports. You need to have. See, I was not a sports player. I played college cricket, and that's about it. But then I follow every event. I keep a tab on what is happening. The first thing that I do in the morning when I pick up newspaper is go to the sports page.
Correct.
So that's all about having a passion. Interest in sports is very important.
That's a major key takeaway in today's session because most students, the question comes is like when they reach out to me is, do I need to have a sports background?
Yeah.
Okay. So one key takeaway, not necessary. Passion is most important, right? Then second thing is that which stream should we take to pursue a sports career?
Okay, that's a question that I get many times, and my simple answer is anything that you feel is comfortable. Commerce I normally advise because there is lots of accounting subjects, so a science student might find it difficult. But at the same time, we do have bridge courses for the students, wherein they are introduced to concepts of accounting. So not necessary that they have to pick up a particular arts, commerce, or science. Anything is fine.
Correct.
In my master's, I had a dentist who came to me and did my master's in sports management. There is no relation at all. I had couple of IIT guys who came to me and did their master's in sports management. So that way, again, it comes to something that I said in the last question. It's about passion.
Passion, right? So there is no, there is no boundaries the moment you have passion for
Absolutely,
something. Right?
absolutely.
So also that there's another question that normally they ask is that if we are into, if a student is playing, okay, then does that help them, give them the leverage to get into sports management or make a career in sports management? Gives an upper limit to get into anything besides playing.
See, that play once he's trying to get into the industry, what will matter is his industry experience and not what he has done earlier. That was those were his playing days. So if he was an athlete, he was a tennis player, if he was a cricketer, that will something which will kind of be a certificate for him. Will it give him an advantage to get into the industry? No, I don't think so. That would his experience, the kind of internships that he does, the kind of volunteering that he does when he's with us, those give him an upper edge when he wants to get into the industry.
Correct.
That's more important.
And also, it's always one thing that people think. Once it's sports, if you want to make a career in sports, it's all about playing. They can't think anything beyond being on the field. Okay. So I keep telling them, there's so much more that you can do besides being a player. So can you throw light on that?
Okay, WPL season is on. IPL will start in some time right now. You have 10 teams. Okay, even if you calculate the total number, of people in that each team, including the playing and the non-playing, the physios and everybody, the assistants, everybody. Let's say that you have 50-60 people. So you're still talking about a number of 500-600 who are actually involved in the game. Okay. Do you have any guess how many might be working in the back end?
Tell me.
There are approximately 30,000 people who work to make IPL successful.
So what are they like? What are the roles that they're taking?
These are different roles. This is in stadium operations. This can be in sales. This can be in your companies like Book My Show, which talks about ticketing. It can be in venue management, sponsorship, which attracts the highest number of people, player managers who are not traveling with them. The variety of them. Data analysis, analytic companies and kind of need people. So it is huge. And I'm not taking into consideration the number of people who would be employed with the sponsors. The sponsors, there are approximately, I believe, 200 plus sponsors, if I'm not mistaken. So this 200 plus sponsors would have their own team managing their sponsorship activities.
Right.
I'm not taking those into consideration. So that number, and these are not sports management professionals. These are somebody who are working with that particular company. Okay, so that number is huge. So again, estimated number is more than 1.2 million. So around 12 lakh people would be indirectly involved. Right. That's a bit higher number, but that's again the number that is portrayed.
That's again another key takeaway for the students, because generally they feel, what does that opportunity, parents, it's more than the students parents who come to me, खेलने के अलावा क्या कर सकते हैं sports में. So I think this would have given a big relief to and answers to their questions, right? So how is IISM training? What are the curriculum and how do you what is the sports management course consisting of?
IISM is the pioneer in sports management education. As I said, we started around 15 years back. We started 15 years back with a very small setup, and today I'm very happy to state that we have a big setup in the heart of Mumbai city at Marol. We offer undergraduate and postgraduate courses in sports management and sports science.
Wow.
These are under Mumbai University. So a student doing courses from IISM officially gets a Mumbai University certificate. For parents, it's an official graduation certificate which carries credit points, credit marks. If they want to travel abroad, if they want to do any other course, it is as good as your BA, BCom, BBA, and any other course. It carries equivalent credit points.
Right.
So I do have my students who did my bachelor's course, got into IIMs. I have my students who are trying for their IIS examinations. So it is not restricted. They want to change their careers post their bachelor's, more than free to do so. So there is no restriction that they do their bachelor's and they have to stick to sports management. I have so many of them who have opted for different careers. So that's also possible.
That's great. So something like sports law, sports psychology.
Yes, I do have quite a. There's no sports psychology is something which would require a specialized training. But sports law, yes, I have students who went on to do their law post their graduation and are doing pretty good. There is a lot of scope for sports lawyers in the country.
Right.
They're into that as well.
Yes. In fact, you know what? And relating to this only, supposing a student who wants to do masters in sports management, if can they be from any background?
Absolutely. As I said, I had a BDS student who came to me.
Yes, you did,
I had
right.
IIT guys who came to me. Currently, 30 to 40% of my students are from with technical background.
I was about to ask you that.
Yes, I get engineers who come to me. They have done their engineering because the parents wanted them to get into
Right.
engineering. So they obliged and made the parents happy, and now they are pursuing their dreams.
Oh, awesome. This is awesome. So supposing if a student does undergrad in India, okay, and wants to do postgrad abroad.
If I have my numbers right, I think I have 22 to 25% of my students who travel abroad to do their PG as well. These are in countries like Australia, majorly in Australia, then UK, and very few travel towards Canada.
Right.
I have not come across anybody going to US yet. But these are the three locations where quite a few of my students go for their post-graduation courses. And yes, it is in sports management. Some are doing in other fields as well.
So then another thing what I was asking is like you spoke about sports science, right? So we've been talking about sports management here. Now when I say sports science, supposing if a student did not crack NEET, okay, so they take a BSS, how would you suggest and how is the scope for it? What are the opportunities?
Very, very growing field. Very, very growing field. Still some time back, the need of sports scientist was not strongly put across in our sporting arena. But now, if you see, there is a need of strength and conditioning expert, the need of a
Yes.
physio, there is a need of a sports psychologist. So there is a ever increasing need right now. And again, I'm quoting 2036 Olympics. If I have to go with that, the figure that they had given was more than 1 lakh sports scientists needed. Let's not stick to what industry is saying. Like I come to 10% of it, still that's a huge number.
Yeah,
That's a huge
exactly.
number. That's a
Absolutely.
huge number. So there is a ever growing need. And there are very few institutions across the country who are offering that. So it's just going to increase. It's just going to increase. That's it.
That's amazing. I mean, this is again another key takeaway for the parents. Like with science, how do you connect science and
So after NEET, they don't want to think of anything else. So this is one of the. So I think I had 3 or 4 students who were not able to crack NEET, and they straight away came for this option. So they were very sure. And this year I see a trend in that. People have come and already inquired saying that. ये बैकअप रख सकते हैं क्या?
right, exactly. So what would be the subjects that the student would be learning in
So
BSS
basically,
program?
you're talking about human anatomy, you're talking about physiology. The practicals include your strength and conditioning. So it's all related to that. And the best thing is we have this curriculum curated by the best in the country.
Awesome.
We have Dr. Muzumdar, who was the head of sports science at Sports Authority of India, that's SAI. He is one of our mentors. Another one is Mr. Ramji. Ramji is famous. He was the strength and conditioning expert for the 2011 World Cup winning India team. He is one of the best again in the country. So these two gentlemen, along with the other people, are the ones who have curated the sports science curriculum. And that's the same thing that we are offering it right now.
Awesome. I mean, it looks very interesting. The subjects are quite interesting. What are the sports playing opportunities or internship opportunities that IISM offers?
Okay, two different parts of it. So my students who enroll get to participate in most of the. So I'm talking about the playing part right now. So there are students who participate. So I just had 2 of my students win 7 medals at national games.
Oh, wow.
So that level they participate. Quite a few play cricket for various clubs. They participate in the university tournaments. So they get to practically play everything under Mumbai University thing. so we don't restrict them at all. So if they come, if they are if it's an athlete who comes to me and wants to pursue the sport, there is a complete freedom given to the person. But of course, we need some documentation to be done. But yes, he can pursue the passion.
Okay.
Uh, Internship varies from what you say, small time startups to you have your IPL teams. You have your Tata marathons happening. We have our placements at Mumbai Cricket Association. We have placements at Pro Panjali. And so it's actually it is like you have nowadays you see IISM students everywhere.
Okay.
It's that big. So our first batch students are also working with your Red Bulls. They are working with your ICC. So they are placed at that level. So it is practically every organization right now that you see, every event that you see, you have ISM presence out there.
Awesome. That's awesome. So that's great to hear. And now there are a lot of students. Now I see a lot of esports. Okay. So, and that's a huge market, right?
It is.
So, what can you tell me about it, and how is the scope? And
okay, let me split it up into two. One is a gamer. So we don't teach them into playing games, but yes, we teach them to manage again the esports. So I have my students who are working with various gaming companies as well. So a big market wherein roles are into operations, roles are into sponsorship, business development, and various kind of activities. The industry is growing at a rapid.
right.
We are talking about inclusion in various international events as well. So I don't want to give the figures, but there are international events which happen which has crores in prize money. So you can imagine the kind of stakes which are
Yes.
involved in this.
And it's only going to grow.
Yeah, it's growing because the whole Gen Z is involved into
Yes.
gaming, and they
Esports,
make
yeah,
they
yeah.
make such tremendous amount of money that even a CEO of the biggest company would have not made by the time he has retired.
I know, I can understand this. Right. So now, supposing if a student is from a design background,
Yeah.
so we have something like game designing and all of that. Will a student from that background make a career? Can he have a career in sports, like as in esports, like developing those?
That will be pure technical. That will be pure technical because that will get into the programming bit part of it. So that way it would be helpful. From a management point of view, the gaming part of it will not be directly relevant. But yes, when it comes to this, because that industry is also pretty big.
Yes.
The programming part of it, developing the games industry is big, and that's where he would have a good role to play.
Okay. So if a student is coming from a background like BDES, Bachelor in Design, into UI UX, product design.
Big scope into designing the games. Very big scope. He should try for that.
Okay.
But of course, it comes with an needed added language programming knowledge as well. So that's a combination.
Okay. So does your master's program help him here, or how will it go
No,
then?
we are not into. We don't help in the designing part of it because it's purely management. It's
Correct.
purely management. So that will not really directly
Right.
be the same.
So in such a case, what should the student do? Supposing if a student wants to get into game designing.
There are other institutes also which are offering game design. I think that should be the best option. There are many times if he is good into programming part of it, the design part of it, there are companies who directly take them as interns, do a on-job training, and then they can join them.
All right. This is quite
It's
insightful.
interesting.
Yeah. And if they wish to go abroad, okay, I mean, they do something like a BTech in India and a game designing abroad. How do you see the scope for it, opportunities?
It is again going to be the regular IT kind of scenario. And if
Is it worth it?
Of course, for somebody who is into game designing, yes, it is worth it.
Okay.
It is worth it. They should try.
Okay, that's great. Because I have at least out of 10, there would be 2 students at least coming telling me either he wants to get into game designing or develop games.
See, again, sorry, I don't wish to, kind of discourage anybody, but having a wish and having that skill set,
It's very important.
they need to develop that skill set first. Everybody wants to be a Sachin Tendulkar.
Right.
but I'm sure you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. So that comes. So now I come to the next question: what kind of skill sets do you think a student? I mean, of course, the passion part is there, but skill sets that is required to get into the sports career.
See, for sports management, as you said, it starts with passion. Of course, it
Right.
starts with passion. You need to know how to work in a group. You can't, be a lone player. You need to know because it's
Team
everywhere.
spirit.
You need to know it's a team effort. It's a team
Right.
effort. If you're looking out for a 9 to 5 job, please don't come.
Right.
This is not an industry for you. If I can just tell you a small incident. I had a mother who came to me and told me to change the timing of IPL game because her son was not getting enough sleep, and that was hampering his health. And IPL should consider changing the game timings so that he comes home early from his internship, sleeps well, and then again gets off. It is not meant for such kind of
I
people.
know.
So it's not going to be a 9 to 5 job. And it's not a daily affair that you have to work such kind of things. Every event starts pretty late. You need to absorb a lot of things. Majorly, you need
It
to
should
absorb.
not
You need
take
to
work as. It should not consider it as work.
no. Apart from that, you need to learn a lot on field. You need to learn a lot. There are a lot of things that and that's true for everybody. That classroom can't teach you. That's something that you learn on the field, and you
Right.
need to absorb that a lot. You need to
Correct.
absorb. You also need to be a lone player now, what I'm saying, because you need to take many times decisions yourself. So that decision making ability has to be really pretty
Correct.
fast, pretty strong. So these are some general skills that I would say are required. And again, topping it up, passion.
Yeah, I know.
That's going to be the main.
There's a cherry on the top.
Absolutely. Just to give you a perspective, currently nearly 78% of my students are or were active sports player.
Oh,
So I get international representations. I just told you that I had two of my athletes who won medal. I have few more who participated but didn't get
the medal.
win any medals. I have students who play the cricket. I have students who were part of athletics team. I have somebody who played roller hockey at international level. I get lot of the students who play karate, taekwondo, and other combat sports who are with me. So that number is pretty. And again, as I said, it again boils on their interest in sports, and that's why they are pursuing this.
So I was about to ask you this question when parents come to me. अभी क्रिकेट ही तो है इंडिया में और फुटबॉल ही तो है इसके अलावा क्या कर सकते हैं स्पोर्ट्स में दिस इज व्हाट दे आस्क मी
बट क्रिकेट मेरे पास जो बच्चे आते हैं वो सिर्फ क्रिकेट के लिए नहीं आते. द जेंसी इज नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन क्रिकेट ओनली. दे माइट बी अट्रैक्टेड टू द ग्लैमर बट दे are not really wanting to just follow cricket. They're more into football, they're more into tennis, quite a lot of they're into F1s. See, if you're getting into sports management, not necessary that you are playing cricket at your school level or college level so that you will get into IPL or a WPL or a BCCI only. You might land up a job with a company called Procam who is arranging Tata Marathon. And they are there for so many years and they're doing extremely good.
Right.
Arranging 4 marathons across the country. It's a massive job. So you can't be sure that you will get attached to the same game in your job that you are playing. You have to be open. You have to be really have an open mind to get. And there are jobs across all the things, all the games.
right
You have something like kabaddi, which is so popular.
Right.
You have something like a kho which has its own league, and all the indigenous games are now being recognized by the government.
Yes,
So you
yes,
never
yes.
know, they will have their own leagues as well.
correct and there are so many movies now that are inspiring and encouraging students to take up careers take up sports besides cricket and the football.
Absolutely. That's very encouraging.
When it comes to getting into IISM, what is the eligibility? Are there any entrance exams?
Yes. So we have our SMAT and SSATs, which is our aptitude test for sports management and sports sciences. minimum eligibility is, of course, you have to pass the examinations by clearing the SOPs, and 50% is the cutoff based on that. Plus, your 12th marks and graduation marks also now are reduced by the university to 40%. Earlier they were 50, now they're at 40%.
Okay, this is quite doable.
Yeah, but to clear our SMAT and SSCT is bit, they need to work on that.
Right.
Yes, we give practice papers. After they register, there are practice papers that we give them. They can just check, they will understand the kind of questions. And yeah, that's about it.
So typically, what would the entrance exam, what would the questions kind be? Like mathematical, logical reasoning? Is it different for BSM and BSS?
So in sports management, we have general aptitude, logical reasoning, general reasoning, questions related to sports management. In sports sciences, we are talking about your general biology, chemistry, a bit on anatomy.
All right.
And also we just check their interest in sports. The SMAT and SSCT, after you clear that, it's followed by a personal interview for bachelors and a kind of a group interview by a panel discussion for masters. The bachelors and the bachelors of management and sports science, they have to undergo a personal interview, and for masters they have to undergo a panel interview.
Okay, great. I think this would give them some clarity as to how to get into IISM,
IISM is now into its 15th year. We are the proud recipient of Rashtriya Klen Protsahan Puraskar.
Awesome.
That was given to us by the Honorable President.
Right.
We are the first sports management institute to receive this honor. We have been partners with Khelo India since 2020.
Superb.
We have been partnering with them as knowledge partners in all their editions. So they have their youth games, they have their university games, para games and winter games. So we are a partner with them where our students create their SOPs, their training modules, quite a lot of things, their impact reports, everything. For the last 2 editions of national games, that is the 37th national games, we were the knowledge and the strategic knowledge and training partner for the government of Goa.
Awesome.
We created their SOPs, we created their impact report, their feedback report. And for the current national games, that is the 30th in Uttarakhand, we were their volunteer training partner. What is important is in all the events that I told you, IISM students are involved.
That's
So
what I
it
want
is
to
a
ask.
student activity. So when I'm telling you it is not a IISM management activity, of course the management team would have to be there to guide the students,
Correct.
but it is out and out a student involvement activity.
That's awesome.
So IISM students worked on Khelo games, IISM students have worked on national games, IISM students, both the editions of national, so they're present practically everywhere.
Right.
And the kind of experience and knowledge that they gain from this thing, working on these events is absolutely tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. You
I can
can't
understand,
buy
I
this
mean,
knowledge.
Right. This would be a solid exposure that they would be
Absolutely, it is.
getting,
It
right?
is.
Right, great. That's awesome. Who's the founder for IISM?
So IISM is founded by ex-Indian cricketer Mr. Nilesh Kulkarni. For the students, Nilesh Kulkarni was the first player to take a wicket on the maiden ball, the first ball, debut ball
Okay.
against Sri Lanka in 97. He was the Mumbai captain as well. So a winning Mumbai captain. Along with his wife Rasika Kulkarni, they founded IISM in 2010.
Okay.
Nilesh Kulkarni is on board of various industry bodies like FICCI, CII, ASSOCHAM. He is also consulting the government of Maharashtra for forming sports university, international sports university in Balewadi. So he is a very, very active member of the whole industry per se.
Okay.
And so he, along with Rasika Kulkarni, who is a event industry expert, they formed this in 2010.
Okay.
Both Mr. and Mrs. Kulkarni are very actively involved in the day-to-day affairs. They interact with students, they guide the students. So it is not that somebody has just formed an institute, but they
With a
actively,
vision.
yes, they absolutely, they have a vision for the sports management education per se, and they are pursuing that.
And I would say that, right now, students want to explore something beyond the normal course of like a BBA or BBA in finance. They're looking something beyond that, and I think this is the right platform for the
Absolutely,
students,
it is.
and especially if they're having interest in sports.
Yes.
Right. So, and how do you see supposing the students finish their BSM, once they finish the course, what is their next? I mean, how does IISM help students?
See, we have our own corporate relations cell, which connects with the industry. The kind of exposure that they have got in the 3 years itself is sufficient for them to get placed.
Okay.
See, getting a job is any which ways depend on oneself.
Right.
Our duty
It's
is
our
to
own
help them.
skills.
Yeah, it is our duty is to get them to an interview,
Right.
which we do with 100% efforts. So that is not a challenge. But till date, I have an average placement ratio of 78 to 80%,
Okay.
which I feel is good in the current scenario.
Right.
I have so many students who don't want to take up a job. Some want to take a gap. Some want to travel abroad. I have students who have started their own business as well. So those are not calculated in this.
Okay. And supposing if they wish to study further, okay, does IISM have any master's program?
Yeah, I told you we have a master's program. So we have our students who pursue masters as well. If they're interested in pursuing masters in any other field, because of the credit points that they get, they are more than willing. They're more than accepted. I'm sorry, more than they are accepted in any other college as well. I told you I have my students who have joined IIM. I have my students who are trying for IIS. So they are open.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right. So that would be like masters in sports management.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a 2-year program, 1 year.
Master in Sports Management is a 2-year program, which again is offered under the University of Mumbai.
Okay, that's awesome. So I think today the students would have got a lot of insights about sports management and also careers in sports besides being a player. We have an interesting segment here, Bust the Myth. Okay, so I'll quickly ask you those questions. Okay. You need to be a professional, I mean, most of it has been answered. You need to be a professional athlete at school level to be eligible to get into IISM.
Not really. You need to have love for sports. You need to follow passion. That's it.
Sports management is male-dominated field.
I have close to 22% of my students who are girls right now. So I really won't say that it is dominated, but yes, there are girls in this industry.
Okay, great. Only cricket, I mean, this has been answered. Cricket-related careers only thrive in India.
You have PKL happening, you have Kho League happening, you have Badminton League happening, you have every possible events which are happening. So I really won't say. Cricket is the game which is followed by the Indians, but you can't say that it is dominated.
So I think the final key takeaway from today's show would be that passion for sports is the important skill that you need to have probably for getting into sports management. And then I think sky is the limit, right? Absolutely. And there is an immense opportunity in sports. You don't need to be a player to get into sports industry.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so whether you take up a commerce background, science background, or humanities, whatever it is, irrespective of the stream, you can still pursue a bachelor's program in sports management. If you're doing a master in sports management, again, you can do it in India as well as abroad. Okay. And it is equally rewarding, right?
If you want to come back to India, please do your course in India. I have a very different take on this. We can have a discussion separately.
So there are also, what are the scholarship opportunities? Can a student get scholarships? Does IISM offer scholarship?
See, we have restricted scholarships, but we do offer to students with economically challenged backgrounds.
Need-based.
There are few forms that have to be filled. We have some kind of evaluation which goes into that. There are some certificates that they have to produce, and based on that, we can offer some sponsorship. But it is again a case-to-case basis, and it is very clear it is not discount. It is scholarship. We have a tie-up with Beni Prasad Goenka Foundation, who sponsors the child.
Wow.
So we, being with university, we don't offer discounts, but we do offer limited scholarships. Yes, we do that.
Okay, that's great. When I had been to your campus last time, so that's when your one of the member of your team were telling that there are celebrities, cricket players, and other sports people who come to deliver lectures or come as visiting faculties. So I would like to understand more about it.
Okay, so there are two types of celebrities, if I have to call them, would come. One are the sports people who come in,
Right.
who come and interact with the students and share their experiences, what has happened on the field, and students really get excited on seeing their heroes out there. So you have Sachin Tendulkar, you have Virendra Sehwag, you have VVS Lakshman. You have Abhinav Bindra.
They do visit the
Yeah, so
campus.
these people have definitely visited, interacted with the students.
Wow.
But what is the major takeaway is the senior industry professionals who come to deliver the masterclass.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say somebody from a sports marketing background who comes and talks to the students and gives them an insight on what exactly sports marketing is all about. The students get to interact with them for 2-3 hours.
Okay.
Or somebody from the fitness industry comes in, or somebody from sports retail come in. See, we all feel that sports retail is just handing over your shoes or the t-shirts. That's sports retail for you. But sports retail is much more than that. So we get people from the sports retail industry. It can be from Adidas, it can be from Decathlon, it can be from anywhere, where they come and talk to the students and they tell them they give them a complete perspective of the industry, what exactly happens out there, and what is in it for those students as well. So those kind of master classes are extremely important. And we
very
get them
inspiring.
on a at least 3-4 times in a month. We have the industry professionals who come and visit the campus and interact with the students.
So that would be a big exposure. I mean, there's a lot to consume, from
Absolutely.
these people.
Absolutely.
Right. That is excellent. And it's been quite an insightful session today, Amit.
Thank you.
I'm sure there are a lot of students who had a lot of questions or were clouded about sports management, career in sports management, would have got some clarity about, not some, a lot more clarity about sports management, and they can think about career besides doing a BTech or maybe medicine and maybe commerce or BBA in just finance. They can definitely explore into something like this in sports management. Thank you so much for coming here.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting.
I'm sure students, we are always there here to help you out with anything relating to any careers. And today, with regard to sports, if you have any questions, you can put it on the comment box. We'll be more than happy. Both me as well as Amit would be very happy to answer your questions. So see you soon for another episode, which would be with another person from a different career. Thank you.